Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and distinguished guests, it's my honor to welcome you to this session on the smart utility integration, electricity, city gas and water, focusing on the seamless convergence of electricity, water and gas services. As our world becomes increasingly interconnected, the need for integrated and efficient utility management has never been more apparent. Today, we have the opportunity to explore innovative solutions and best practices that can revolutionize how we manage and deliver these essential services. By fostering collaboration and leveraging cutting-edge technologies, we can create a more suitable, resilient, and customer-centric utility ecosystem. I look forward to our discussions and the insights that will emerge as we work towards a smarter, more integrated future. Thank you. We will start our opening session with a welcome address by Mr. Reji Kumar Pillai. He's the President of India Smart Grid Forum and Chairman GSEF. Welcome, sir. We also have Mr. E.S. Ranganathan, a former Managing Director, IGL. Sir, kindly please be welcome on the stage. Mr. Raman Srivastava, Senior Vice President, FNS and RCA and RM from IGL. Welcome, sir. We also have Mr. Sreedhar Venkat, Senior Vice President, BSES Rajdhani Power, for the special address. Welcome, sir. And Mr. Ganesh Das, Chief Collaboration and Innovation from Tata Power Company Limited. Welcome. Is Mr. Ganesh Das? Yeah. Okay. I would like to invite Mr. Pillai for the welcome address.
Good morning everybody. Warm welcome to you all. We are well represented by electricity and gas. We expect some water people also to join soon. In 2014, Government of India launched a program called Smart City. A Smart City Mission was created. So at that point in time, ISGF, India Smart Grid Forum, published a white paper. We talked about the utilities integration. Sharing the digital assets of electricity companies. In most of those cities, there are some 100 smart cities they're talking about. Most of the cities, electricity companies are already, that time, completing a program called RAPDRP, under which a set of digital solutions were being implemented that was nearing completion. So we argued that digital assets of electricity distribution companies can be extended to other domains like city gas distribution, water distribution, municipal services, etc. at marginal cost. Cost of doing business for each of these domains will come down by doing that. For example, we talked about a combined bill. Electricity, water, gas, city gas, all getting one bill. It's a real delight for the customer. In one click, one place you can pay for all three. Today we get 3 bills from 3 different utilities and we pay. And for them, it's so difficult for them to also, water bill is very less, gas bill is also comparatively less compared to electricity bill. So with that small money, they have to have a billing department, they have to have a metering and department, they have to have a collection department, all those platforms and tools and software, etc. Maintaining, paying license fee for that, it's a cost of doing business goes up. And this all can be clubbed, and electricity is a bigger piece of the money, so they could collect it and give it to these two other domains. And as part of that program, which I said, RAPDRP program, which was funded completely through a grant from Government of India, 1,411 towns at that point in time were given grant for upgrading their systems. So 1,411 towns, they established call centers, good call centers, and also the GIS map. The GIS map of the electrical assets and customers were prepared for the first time. For electricity companies, we are not having all this in the past. For the first time, they did all these things there. So we said, it's a common sight when you go to many towns or smaller towns and even cities. One utility going and digging and cutting the other utility's wire, or the people who are laying something, cutting the water pipes. These are very, very common. Gas people are being very, very professional right from beginning, so they keep proper, and it's very dangerous also. If gas is somebody breaks, it's dangerous also. But the whole city gas distribution started from GAIL and ONGC and all that, which are really professional companies who understand the value of technology. So they've been very careful. Such incidents have not happened. But water people cutting electricity wire and electricity people cutting water pipeline is a common sign. So because they don't know where it is. But if you are capturing them on a digital map and sharing among them through appropriate agreements, that can be a very, very valuable tool. And having one, all of them have digital maps, but it's only talk about their stuff. If a common map of a city, which are all this underground assets are properly mapped, even overground assets are properly mapped, it will be much better for the planning and expansion. All this network keep expanding or modernizing. So if you have a map and have a visibility, street-wise, building-wise visibility, you could plan and do it better. So, and also as part of the same program, we established call centers. Earlier call centers were never working, and not only that, for electricity complaints, we got a 4-digit number all across the country. It's a 4-digit number now, 1912. So, and those call centers are, over the years, we have modernized the electricity call centers. They have chat bots and voice bots and all that. So same thing with the gas company and the water company. They all have, so we argued that the 1912 call centers of electricity companies in this 1400 towns, which operational that time, in 2016-17 it became operational. We said that can be extended as a city command and control center. All the services, it can come there. From there, IVR will take you to gas, dial 1 for gas, 1 dial 2 for water, 3 for electricity, whatever. So it could go to other municipal services. You don't need to maintain multiple such facilities, and people need to call different places. So all this sounded quite good, but actual implementation, these are all regulated by different domains. So Mr. Ranganathan was the managing director of IGL at that point in time, 2018. We went and we talked to them, and also Mr. Pravir Sinha was managing director of Tata Power Delhi Distribution. So we made that meeting, and they signed an MOU and agreed to do billing in 2 divisions of West Delhi, Northwest Delhi, 2 divisions. They agreed to do a common billing part. We started sometime in 2019, second half. By the time, sir, you moved to GAIL, and COVID came, and thereafter there was not much progress. They did it for almost a year or 2 they have done. But good news is that later BSES, both Yamuna and Rajdhani, they now have an MOU with IGL, and they are sharing several assets and operations. So this was the context in which later, last year, Mr. Anil Jain, he has taken over as PNGR chairman. Today he had agreed to come, but he's tied up, he couldn't make it. He said this is a very important thing, we should take it. And the problem is that in electricity, every state we have a separate regulator, but for gas there is only one regulator for the entire country, which is Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Body, PNGRB. So they are keen. So if cost of doing business for each of these domains can come down, and which will lead to increased customer satisfaction and convenience, and it could be additional revenue for electricity people for doing those 2, but your actual cost will go down drastically. So this was the context in which we've been again, post-COVID, we've been again reviving that same argument that to the extent possible we should be able to do this utilities integration at the last mile. Thank you very much, and we have a distinguished panel. So, Ashima? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Pillai, for the opening welcome address. I would like to invite Mr. E.S. Ranganathan, former MD from IGL, for the special address.
Thank you, Ashma. My fellow panelists on the dais, my ex-colleagues and captains of the industry, in the audience. A very warm good morning for all of you. It's a privilege and honor to be part of this symposium today on a subject which holds great relevance to today's scenario. In fact, the smart utility integration is basically the integration of technology, advanced technology, and particularly the Internet of Things, the devices, and the data analytics that goes into it, into a traditional utility system, such as water, gas, and electricity. This integration will actually improve efficiency, reliability, and sustainability in utility operations while providing consumers also with greater control and insight into their usage. At the same time, the utility companies also gain in terms of optimization of efforts, as brought out by Reji Kumar Pillai, and also cost, while improving the service delivery to the customers. Now, if you look at the current landscape, there is quite a good scope for integration of the smart utility. Many utilities around the world are actually implementing smart utility integration to enhance efficiency, reliability, and sustainability. The smart meters have become order of the day. It is widespread, allowing for very real-time monitoring of the consumption and better management of the resources. Advanced analytic platforms are available, which are being used to analyze the data collected from smart devices, and it helps utilities to actually optimize the operations and improve service delivery. If you look at the components, of course, all are aware of the components. We have the IoT devices, the data analytics, grid optimization, demand response, and remote monitoring and control. Also, it helps in the predictive maintenance and energy management systems of the utility one. Now, there is one more thing in the electricity which has come in is the renewable energy, that's the solar, rooftop solar. So now the consumers have become what I call the prosumers. They are producer also and consumer also. So this will actually improve or increase the complexity of operations and will call for a better management of all utilities. Now, how can you integrate the utility operations? You will have to have a distributed energy source, such as rooftop panels that I told. Then the demand response program, and also now the transportation, cross-sector coordination with the transport sector, because now electricity will also be used in a large extent for charging of electric vehicles. Then the digital assets can easily be shared among all utilities. Nowadays, the automation and the innovation have become pillars of operation of all organizations, especially the utility companies. Digitization refers to conversion of analog signals into digital, and automation will involve use of machines and algorithms to streamline services. Together, digital automation and innovation are revolutionizing the industries, enhancing efficiency and empowering individuals to adapt and thrive in this digital age. Embracing these trends is crucial for organizations and individuals to stay competitive and achieve sustainable growth. Now, natural gas and city gas distribution, like electricity, that has also taken a leap forward and adapted itself with the Industry 4.0 benchmark. This refers to the integration of advanced technologies in the service sector, such as big data analytics, IoTs. It also enables improved operational efficiency, as I told before, the personalized customer experiences and data-driven decision making. In CGD sector, the automation of meter reading, collection, and the introduction of prepaid meters, SCADA, smart fleet card, and GST, single window, platforms for data analytics have actually revolutionized the operation of the city gas companies. Old days are left behind when decisions were taken based on intuitions. Now technology has widely assisted us in taking data-based decisions. With the advent of IT-OT convergence, trends have changed in industries from reactive maintenance, that's failure-based, to proactive maintenance with further comprises of preventive and predictive maintenance practices. Collaboration between utilities, technology providers, and original equipment manufacturers are essential for successful utility integration. Sharing of digital analytics such as digital assets such as data analytics platforms and communication networks can enable interoperability and scalability across the systems. Now, what are the challenges? The challenges are because all the utilities are working in silos, so there is no global standard for IoT device being used by all the utilities. Now, interoperability, your data security of one utility and the other, that may be at cross purposes. Then statutory compliances, as Reji Kumar pointed out, the regulators are different for different utilities. So there will be some conflict on the statutory compliances of each. Then cyber security is another concern all across. Then also because every company works on this, the integration has to be done by an outsider, that is a foreign solution has to come in. Now, communication platforms also, because they have improved tremendously in leaps and bounds, this will enable the bi-directional communication between end user and the utilities. Data aggregation platforms also and the interoperability standards. This will go a long way in facilitating the collaboration between utilities. Billing is another area which Reji Kumar also touched. That's where all the utilities are doing the same job. You have to read the meter, make a bill, give it to the customer and collect money. Then regulators, of course, I have told. So what happens is that the smart utility integration, overall, it will play a crucial role in modernizing the infrastructure. And it will, of course, increase the efficiency of each and sustainability in the provision of essential services like water, gas, and electricity. And it will also give significant opportunity for enhancing the customer experience and advancing the sustainability goals. Collaboration and regulatory alignment are key enablers for realizing this full potential of the smart utility integration. I would like to share a real-life experience. Mr. Reji touched briefly between IGL and Tata Power. We had an MOU, and through that, the meter reading contracts of both the companies were combined, and one meter reader was going into the customer in the areas of Tata DDPL. Around 1,70,000 customers were given the option of paying gas bills from Tata Power website and also electricity bills from IGL website. Also, we started in two areas. We started common customer service center, wherein walk-in customers were served. And the best practices of call center and debtor management were actually exchanged. And one more thing that happened was, IGL was starting their operations in Ajmer, where Tata Power was already present. So close to 1 lakh customers were acquired for IGL by Tata Power, because Tata Power had day-to-day interaction with their customers, so they actually acquired those customers for the purpose of gas supply to IGL. And I'm sure that a day is not far when all utilities will be managed through a common infrastructure and manpower through the use of state-of-the-art technologies for the benefit of both customers and operators. Thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I would like to call Mr. Sreedhar Venkat from Senior Vice President BS Rajdhani Power for the special address.
Good morning, everybody. I thank ISGF for inviting me for this session. See, this topic is very, very interesting, and today the collaborative world where I come from BSES Rajdhani, where we have 30 lakh consumers, and we give South and West Delhi, where 1.2 crore populations are there and 30 lakh consumers. So the same consumers are having the gas as well as water. And it is a sharing of data, as rightly said by Reji, that yes, today is the modern world, and we are all AI, ML, digital twin, and metaverse, and virtual reality, and those things are happening, and where we ourselves are investing a lot of time in this modern area, because data is a new oil, and where volume and velocity and variety and veracity has to add value. Because if three utilities can come together, and really it can really make wonders for city life of people. Because I come from a utility where I know the pains of utilities, where other countries where we have a common utility duct, we have been talking about in 2047 India has to become 100 years Viksit Bharat, we must have a common utility duct. Every day we are digging the road for cabling or gas pipeline connections or a telecommunication line or a police intranet cables, and we also have DJB water line as well as our sewage water system in the underground. So underground utilities, underground surface utility engineering is a big subject now today. As a distribution, I can say how many days my cables are cut by other utility for their digging, because how many days the roads are dug. Been dug by various agencies. We have common today in India. We have a e-forest website, and we also have conservative forest and the tree management, especially in Delhi-like scenario, urban, where you have to lay your system utility 2 meters away from the trees, because you have to also protect the tree, because today the planet is first, the people are second, and then the profit and the business are third. So as the planet has to be protected, we have to see that all our trees are managed properly, and the tree rules, the tree officers and the forest and those systems are very, very severe today. And where either one utility will lay the cable one day, other day utility will lay the pipeline, third utility will do the gas line. So, and also there is no linkage between this connection. This connection can happen because the technologies today can give you that mileage to the utilities. And this, as a progressive utility, I can say this really will help people in the long run, especially in the urban and the space. So in urban, another problem we have is that we also have unauthorized colonies, and these unauthorized colonies are yet to be owned by the civic MCDs or DD, PWD, etc., because still they are unauthorized. So where this encroachments of also are there in predominant in the system. So as a utility, safety standards are very, very predominant for us, because whether it is a gas or whether it is electricity or whether it is a water, we would like to have people to be safe. Whether the 1.2 crore population, we want to be safe every day, day in, day out, they wake up and they are safe. And this data management, as I said, with big data, R, Python and Tableau, etc., are giving the edge for efficient operations, and also gives us flexibility in our operations. So all assets are now digitalized. We have a consumer mapped till the assets, whether a transformer or a ACB or my breaker, and also my feeder pillar, service pillar, a service cable, all today monitored. Same way, I can extend the services to water as well as to gas. Data sharing is always going to be beneficial for the city urban space. And rightly said, we have to go, because if you have open-minded with a collaborative workspace, if you would work, technology today will make our the silos working to combined working, because in an organization also we have to for our leadership to make the things, because conventional traditional working plus the modern thinking and as well as the future ready. So we have to build a bridge, because this will really help both civic as well as utilities as well as the water and gas to take the next level. I'll tell you my experience in BSES Rajdhani Power. See, when we lay cable, when we use radar techniques to for a trenchless cable laying or open digging and doing it. Open digging, okay, we'll know, we'll have to be doing it very cautiously so that no ideal gas pipelines are damaged or, no water lines are broken. But if you don't know where exactly it is laid and there's no mapping properly done, today's GIS era where every asset is can be clearly, coordinates are properly defined and where exactly the ESV lines are, 66 kV, 33 kV lines are, where exactly 11 kV lines are, where LT lines are going, where pole and overhead systems. So this can be really integrated. In fact, last week, 1 month ago, the Vice Chairman of Delhi Jal Board was with us. As Reji was mentioning about the customer care, that 1912 number. See, we do a very extensive customer care, customer fault analysis, customer complaint handling system through social media, Facebook, Twitter, and anywhere people can raise a complaint. It will all go to intelligent operation management system, IOMS. Through IOMS, it will go to the respective desk of people. It will generate a notification, automatic notification for the people to do a service. And we also have a round-the-clock monitoring through system operations, SCADA and DMS and outage management, etc. Where the combination of technology and the information quickly attending the complaint and resolving the customer complaint, quickly restoring the supply. So like that, same thing can be extended to water pipeline leakages, etc. So that's expertise what we gained over the period of time, both traditional as well as modern, mixing together. In a city life, we can give a better life to the people. And as he mentioned about voice bots and this, we also created a call center agents through technology. And by this, they can really know by intelligent today, it is doing a function, fantastic function of a human being. So those expertise can be extended, be shared among each other, because I always believe sharing we gain, by grabbing we lose. So sharing each other's positives, it will going to become positives for all the three utilities. It is mutual because it is an urban society. It's the people who are civic system, the entire population. We have to give them comfortable life, because why we should have a unhealthy atmosphere? Even the pollution control, we know whether CAQM body has been created to give us alert always that, oh, you cannot run a DG set oil, no, it cannot be run, and you have to change the DG to oil to your CNG, etc. Where you are closely monitoring whether you customer commercial or this thing has to be only done on a preventive maintenance, to be done on a Sunday only, where is commercial is stopped. So like this, Ranganathan ji mentioned about the days of preventive maintenance to predictive maintenance to predictive maintenance to predictive maintenance to proactive maintenance have started in utilities also. So we do extensive predictive controls like drone survey, and also we do your partial discharge testing, as well as we do thermal scanning, etc. So those techniques, more technological advancement which is there in the utilities, where this can be extended to other system, water as well as gas also. Because we have to create a forum like this. This forum are already created to exchange the experience of each and everybody. So ultimately we believe that what Modi ji has said, and Raman Mandir Pratishtha, परंपरा की पवित्रता और आधुनिकी की अनंतता और समृद्धि की लक्ष्य. If India has to become 100 years, 1947, where we say Viksit Bharat, number 2, number 3, we have to have collaboration mindsets. We cannot have a differentiating mindsets, and because this mindset with a technological and a common understanding of a human being's better life, because ultimately we have to want our people to be healthy and happy, because only healthy and happy people can deliver better, create a better future for all of us to live. Because in fact, urban space we can see electricity, electric cooking, and electric. This people, our children who have gone abroad and studied abroad, and where they've seen their life there, abroad. So they are one click of button, they do everything, the smart way of living life. So they would like to have the same life here, the last mile connectivity. So these things will really happen. I think the time to come with the regulators getting merged and policies getting framed up and changed. And the change is only constant and will continue to change and will constantly evolve. Our thinking pattern will also change because that oneness, one family, the Vasudeva Kudumbakam, we talked about G20. The G20 entire collaboration took place in the Delhi and events were coordinated very nicely. And we ourselves were there at both Yeshobhumi as well as and Bharat Mandapam to give power supply to the system. And at that time, with the integration it took was phenomenal. When events like that where it takes place, when everybody collaborated together and make the India pride, Vasudeva Kudumbakam. So that can be extended for this. Can always merge because it's only human minds has to connect together and collaborate together, and we can bring better life for our urban citizen like Delhi, because this is what I strongly believe in. And we can always share our inputs, our experiences, and mutually by sharing it, will benefit each other's strong this thing. And water system, I said, we plugged a lot of leakages. The system, call center system, we expanded to water Delhi Jal Board. And in fact, after we extended our the way we handled the customer complaint, the way we are bringing customer delight today. So those experiences always will brought in change in Jal Board also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I would like to invite Mr. Raman Srivastava, Senior Vice President, ISGL, for the special address.
Respected Ranganathan sir, Reji sir, dignitaries sitting on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. Actually, I am from Indraprast Gas Limited, gas utility. So I think my prior speakers have already told about everything. So I am just going to the point that as per Government of India initiative, the natural gas usage should be 15% by 2030. At present, it is around 6%. So taking this initiative, the natural gas usage is expanding a lot. And at present, in India, every city has covered, and all the CGDs are working to increase the usage of natural gas. So if you see, at present, in India, more than 6,000 CNG stations are there. More than 10 million customers, domestics are there, and 60,000 and above industrial and commercials are there. If we see the IGL Indraprast Gas Limited contribution, we have more than 800 CNG stations and 2.5 million domestic customers and more than 10,000 industrial and commercial customers. So if we see the point, the first is like the issue what we are getting is the billing, real-time data of the customers, because the customers are increasing day by day, and every year we are adding 3 lakh customers in our basket. So the challenge is we are using smart metering, we are using other solution, but the potential by which the customers are increasing, it is very difficult to cover all the data. So the challenge is to capture real-time data. If we get the real-time data, the billing can be done accurately and we can get the revenue in time. Otherwise, so many customer complaints are there. So one point is required, how to go with the smart metering, how to go with the solution to capture all the customers in the CGD business. Second important thing is that gas reconciliation, because we are using gas on daily basis. Even at present, if we see the data, we are using 8 million SCMD gas daily. And if we consider the unaccounted loss or gas loss 1%, it is coming 80,000 SCMD. And if we go the cost of the gas, it will come around 100 crores in a year. So it is a very heavy cost. How we can monitor it, how we can get the real-time data, and how we can do the better monitoring and control of the gas reconciliation. That is also important thing. So suppose electricity or water utility or any other utilities are doing, so we can see and we can come with a solution how we can manage it, because gas is ultimately a cost. The third point is we are using, like earlier already said, that uninformed digging, because we are using the huge network in the pipeline, Delhi and NCR, and we have a system that call before you dig, but very few companies are following, and we are getting after every week 1 or 2 complaints that some other utilities have damaged our pipeline. So that is a safety hazard also, plus the loss of the natural gas also. So in this aspect, we can have a complex integrated any system that can control and manage the all utilities. That will be useful for us, because somebody is using, and we are using GIS mapping also, but sometimes the data is not correct and data is not accurate. So we are getting problem that the line is damaged. So these things are there that we can discuss, and we can see how we can have a better solution for that. Apart from that, the most important thing is the safety aspect. How we can ensure the safety in our operations. Because normally, day by day, the technicians and the trained people are leaving, and we are getting training, we are inducting new people. So to ensure the safety, we have to use metaverse and other intelligent systems, so that apart from the routine safety, we can provide the safety training on the regular interval. So these are the things that we need to incorporate and involve in gas business, so that our operation will be efficient and safe. So these are the points that I wanted to share, that these are the areas where we can develop. And if this is the forum where we are sitting all the gas, water and electricity people, so we can devise some mechanism and we can discuss how we can go ahead and we can make the utility a smarter utility. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Raman. I would like to invite Mr. Ganesh Das, Chief Collaboration and Innovations, Tata Power Company Limited, for the special address.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you all. So, it is no brainer to understand that once we unite, the cost will come down, everything is going to happen the way we have suggested and mentioned here. But if you really look at it, whatever we are trying to do, the way we are trying to do, which includes us, BSES, water utilities, gas utilities, but it is largely transactional. So what happens when it is transactional? Suppose you have a common billing, bill happening, and one bad experience will drop everything. One CEO will decide one day that it works. The other CEO will decide that it may not work, because you may have an adverse experience and all those things. And we have to understand that why it is like this, because structurally it has been defined like that. It has been defined that water is a different ministry, gas is a different ministry, electricity is a different ministry, and all this has happened because of the expertise. But probably if you go back to few years, you will find that you needed to be a specialist in gas, electricity, water, because though these are all utilities, but it requires different level of specialization. For instance, somebody who is technically handles gas is very different from someone who technically handles electricity or water. All these are very different streams. But what it does, that is where the basic element or the product or the solution or the component is concerned. But if you really look at when you go up, when we are actually reaching out to serve the customer and making gas available, water available, electricity available, we find that a lot of things are common, and that is where the technology comes in. Like we have the IT/OT, and IT/OT is largely common. You have SCADA in the case of or SCADA or ADMS in the case of electricity, you have SCADA in the case of gas, you have SCADA in the case of water also. So largely the technologies are common. Again, it calls for what sort of a domain expertise, what kind of processes we need to define to do that. So and then of course we today have got cyber security, all those things. But largely I find that when we try to address a problem as large, or rather when you are actually addressing a legacy, the way it has been grown, has been designed for many years. As the countries grows, economies grows, this gets stronger and stronger. So it becomes, when we are trying to solve it through a transactional process, does not give us that kind of results. And I have seen this, we are trying to do in multiple places, but it will remain in that transactional phase most of the time. So actually what it needs to be done is, how do we really look at from the strategic standpoint? Can it be strategic? And how do we really make it strategic? So what, very importantly, when you are moving towards open market, open economy, reducing government fund grant, government, support is going to get reduced, you want to make state independent, departments independent, it has to be left to the market forces. So there has to be essentially a market has to be created for doing that. And how do we really do that? Then unfortunately, and let me give you a classical example. Some time back, mobility was a different business. Telecom used to handle mobility separately. Entertainment was very different. Now if you look at today, mobility and entertainment has come together. You have a broadband, you have a fiber running to your house, and entertainment is served through that, and you also have a communication. So that is where the integration happened, and it is a strategic integration. So when the integration happened at a strategic level, then what happens is you start creating a market. You start creating business model. For instance, few years back, DTH was a very big market, but no longer DTH is DTH is just one of the things which maybe a communication company also offers. Or maybe because entertainment is offered through what is the product? The end product is entertainment, and that could be done through a DTS or a fiber optics or through any other channel wherein you are able to reach to the consumers. So predominantly what we have to see is, how does it really, how does it really reach the customer, and what kind of choices the customer has. To some extent, I would say to start with, there is an opportunity to have a common regulation on few things. We do talk, because in India, if you look at all the three things, maybe less gas, less to the lesser extent, but water and electricity, it is more of a state subject. The state has a good control to form regulations, the way it is normally required at the ground. It's important also, because every state has got its different nitty-gritties at the ground level. So when it happens, then you have to figure out that what could be some of the common regulation which can happen, which can eventually, and let us not look at reducing cost. What we are trying to do is to, maybe it may be expensive to start with, but eventually it will give to a long or a very large convenience for you to monitor things, and eventually the cost will be also driven. So what could be a common areas where we can regulate, or maybe come out with some common regulatory points? It could be, again, I would say it will not be metering and billing, but certainly the problems of right of way, the infrastructure, the technology, the cyber security, which largely knits the nation together, that those could be the common area. So regulations can play a very important role in defining that. The second thing is, the customer can also dictate. For instance, if the customer demands, or some of the regulations and openness happens in the technology space, wherein customers very specifically ask that I want to have an application which is in which I am going to look at all three of my bills together. I need to have that. So there is a possibility that customer can facilitate that interface very quickly. Suppose I decide to integrate it. It happens. Like I still use a BlackBerry, mail system, and where there is one screen where I can integrate all the mail wherever it is. Earlier it used to be served by BlackBerry. Now I pay something like 65 rupees a month, and I can get all the mail integrated and then common this thing. So it is up to us. We can also decide that how to do that. And eventually what will happen is that could also become a potential opportunity to create a business model. The third thing, perhaps the most telling thing, is coming out creation of different business model. Now many things are getting re-regulated. We are finding that the government is trying to pull away from running few of the things, and certainly a lot of efforts have been there in the electricity sector. Water also they tried doing it. Gas also they are trying to do it. So there is an intent come from the government very specifically. Suppose we are able to derive a business model which essentially has a strong component of, to be competitive you have to be cost effective. For instance, I feel that from the electricity standpoint we can do it. Energy as a service is something which is going to drive this. Now energy as a service means it is immaterial that what kind of a tariff, what kind of a agreement, or what kind of a direction the state gives to the operator. but the operator has to give the best solution to the customer on a one-to-one basis. So energy as a service, the way you are managing the entire operations, which could mean energy efficiency, working of the equipment sector, that gives a lot of opportunities. And once you are operating on the energy as a service as a model, then suddenly what happens is you look for optimizing. And how do you look for optimizing? You start looking at, is there somewhere I can, amortize my cost of technology by giving other services, which could be essentially a water or gas, because when you are going to serve a customer, every customer uses all the three things at the same time. Another thing which maybe to extending to the gas, maybe Reji, I also think that hydrogen also can come into this. Suppose for instance, if you are using the industrial gas in a big way, so there is right now I am saying let us not shake our heads. We are trying to discover that what could be doing that. Now we see that when we are trying to discover the model of hydrogen, so what could be a right price for hydrogen, we find that hydrogen will find some viability, will at least make a headway through the industries. I think that is the road it will take, may not be electricity, but through industries. Is it somewhere that an operator becomes responsible to supply whatever is the consumables in terms of, I would say, generated through a national resource or through a large resource like for instance gas, water, electricity, and maybe to some extent industrial gas, there could be a network of that. What I'm trying to say is all this have some common element of technology and cost involved. So is it possible to look at that? So three options therefore. One is of course evolution of a business model which makes it attractive for the integration to happen, all the three together, and maybe with some other model, maybe hydrogen, may not be hydrogen. It is just a thought here. The second part is it possible for consumer to actually come out and force the utilities to share information, at least related to them, so that the consumer has a empowerment to do that. And why this becomes little critical is, we just heard that there is a possibility of consumer also, and consumer is also generating through rooftops, and then there is also some bit of a storage is going to get also integrated at the home level. We are seeing that. Some of the products we are also going to come up in this area. So when you are going to have that, the customer is also going to have a control over some element of generation. So he become more empowered. The empowerment gives more confidence, and that empowerment also, that confidence also enables him to put across some demand. And that demand can enable possibly some information getting flowed to him so that that person can use it very effectively. So the consumer, and the third part of course is the regulations, maybe some common regulation, common areas where some people can sit together and work on it. I feel that this could be some of the things, a start. Again, all this business model get evolved. So it is not a solution, but it is something which we can actually look at it and see that how do we really figure out, because it's a very important area, and once it happens, it can lead to a lot of convenience, apart from, of course, bringing the cost down. Thank you. Right.
Thank you, Mr. Ganesh Das. With this, we'll come to an end to the opening session of the Smart Utilities Integration. And I would request Mr. Pillai to please give a token of appreciation to our esteemed guests. Mr. E.S. Ranganathan. Mr. Sreedhar Venkat. Mr. Raman Srivastava. And Mr. Ganesh Das. Thank you. Requesting all the esteemed guests for a group photograph, please. You can come forward.